It was a cold and quiet night on Earth. The stars shone brightly in the dark sky, but no one was looking at them. Far away from the busy cities, in a small village near the mountains, a boy sat alone in a wheelchair. His name was Zane. He was 16 years old, and he was paralyzed. Zane could not move his legs. He hadn't walked since he was 8 years old. Doctors had no answers. People in the village said he was cursed. But Zane didn't believe that. He just felt different. He liked to look at the stars every night. Something about the sky made him feel calm. He always felt that someone or something was watching him from above. But tonight. Something was strange. A strange sound came from the sky. It was not thunder. It was not a plane. It was something else. The clouds turned blue. The wind became silent. And then, a light. A bright silver spaceship slowly came down from the clouds. It made no noise, no fire, no smoke. Just light. Zane didn't move. He didn't scream. He just stared. The spaceship landed near the field, not far from where he was sitting. Then the door opened. 4 tall aliens stepped out. Their skin was pale, almost white. Their eyes glowed green. They wore black and silver armor. Each one had a symbol on their chest, a dragon made of stars. One of them stepped forward. He looked at Zane, then turned to the others and said in a deep voice, "He is the one, the last code holder." Zane was confused. What did they mean? Why were they here? Another alien scanned Zane with a blue light. The scanner beeped. The alien looked surprised. "This human has the code," he said. "But he is paralyzed." The leader replied, "Then the code is locked. We must awaken it." Suddenly, the wind stopped. Everything froze. The sky turned dark, then glowed with red and gold. High above, a giant dragon made of fire and light appeared. It flew across the sky, leaving trails of sparks. The air burned with power. The dragon opened its mouth and called out a name. Zane. The voice shook the ground. Trees bent. The aliens looked up in fear and wonder. Zane's heart beat fast. His fingers twitched. Then. Something happened. For the first time in 8 years, Zane moved his hand. The aliens gasped. Zane slowly stood up from his wheelchair. His legs were shaking, but they held him. He looked at the dragon in the sky. The dragon looked back. Its eyes were glowing with fire and something more. Recognition. The dragon knew Zane. And deep inside, Zane knew the dragon too. He didn't understand how, but he remembered something. A dream? A voice? A light? It was all blurry, but it felt real. The dragon roared again, then disappeared into the stars. The leader of the aliens stepped forward. "Zane," he said, "your time has come. The galaxy needs you. You are not just a boy. You are the last key to the star code." Zane didn't speak, but his eyes were glowing soft blue like the stars. He nodded. The aliens opened a small portal behind them. It showed stars, planets, and things Zane had never seen before. "This is the beginning," the alien said. Zane took one step forward. Suddenly, a vision hit him. He saw Earth burning, cities falling, a shadow with red eyes laughing, and the dragon, chained, screaming his name. "Zane." He opened his eyes. The vision was gone, but he knew it was real. The enemy was coming, and he was the only one who could stop it. But who was the enemy? Why did Zane have the code? And why did the dragon know his name? The answers were waiting beyond the stars, and Zane was ready. Darkness. Silence. Floating. Zane was not on Earth anymore. He was not in the spaceship either. He was inside something. Or maybe inside himself. Around him, there was no ground, no sky, no walls. Just a dark space filled with soft blue lights like stars floating in a dream. He tried to move. He could. He looked at his hands. They were glowing. Then, he heard a voice. You were always more than just human. Zane turned. There was no one there. You are the code holder. You carry the memory of a galaxy. The lights around him began to spin. Fast, faster. They formed a shape, a circle, like a gate. Suddenly, an image flashed in front of him, a planet falling into fire. People screaming. And a dark figure with red eyes absorbing light into its hands. He is coming, the voice said. And you must remember who you are before it's too late. Zane reached out toward the light, then woke up. He gasped. His eyes opened. He was lying inside a silver pot in a clean, bright room. The walls pulsed with blue energy. Strange symbols floated in the air like holograms. The aliens were watching him through a glass window. He's awake, said one. He accessed the core memory, said another. The code is reacting faster than we expected. Zane sat up slowly. His body still felt strange but alive. He could feel energy in his chest, flowing like a river. The door opened with a soft hum. The alien leader stepped in. His name was Commander Vaylor. Welcome, Zane, Vaylor said. You are in the Star Ark, our ship. We've been searching for you for a long time. Zane looked around. What was that place? That dream? Vaylor shook his head. It was not a dream. It was the code world. You entered it because the dragon awakened your mind. You saw memories from the past and warnings from the future. Zane stood. Why me? Why do I have this code? The commander's face grew serious. Thousands of years ago, a war nearly destroyed the galaxy. A powerful enemy called the Void Eater wanted to erase all light, all life. So the last guardians hid the star code, a living memory of our history, inside a human. Someone pure, someone strong. Zane stepped back. But I'm not strong. I couldn't even walk before. Vaylor smiled faintly. Strength is not in muscles, it is in choice. The code chose you, Zane, even before you were born. Zane's head hurt. This is too much. I'm just a kid. No, the commander said. You are our last hope. Suddenly, alarms rang. Red lights flashed. Intrusion in Sector 3. Unknown energy detected. The floor shook. Something was wrong. Zane and Vaylor rushed into the hallway. The ship's corridors glowed red. Soldiers ran past them. The air tore open like paper. A small black hole formed in the middle of the hallway, pulling light and metal toward it. Zane's eyes widened. He recognized the energy. It was the same feeling he saw in his vision. From the hole, a figure stepped. Out. Tall, shadowed, with red eyes that burned like fire. Zane's heart dropped. That's him. Local code, he whispered. The Void Eater? Vaylor pulled Zane back. No, just his servant, an echo, but dangerous. The echo raised its hand. A dark pulse shot toward them. Zane lifted his arm by instinct, and the pulse stopped in midair. Zane had blocked it. With light, everyone stared. Zane looked at his hand, glowing blue. What? Am I? The echo smiled. You are the last meal. Then it disappeared into smoke. Back in the control room, Zane sat quietly. The crew patched the ship. The danger had passed for now, but Zane knew. This was only the beginning. He closed his eyes and whispered to himself, I need to remember. I need to become what I was meant to be. Then, from deep within his mind, the dragon's voice echoed once more. Soon, Zane, you will rise. But to rise, you must first fall. Zane opened his eyes, and far beyond the ship, in the darkness of space, the void was watching. The boy was flying, not in a spaceship, not in a dream. Just flying. The stars were close to his face, glowing like candles. He stretched out his hands and touched a comet as it passed. He laughed a small, bright laugh that echoed across the galaxy. He was not in a wheelchair. He was not afraid. He was free. Planets spun slowly around him like marbles. Space was full of color: blue, green, orange. It didn't feel cold. It felt like home. And beside him flew a dragon. Its body was made of light and stardust. Its eyes were golden, kind, and old, very old. "Zane," the dragon said. "Do you remember?" The boy nodded. "I remember everything. Until the fall." The dragon's voice grew soft. "It wasn't your fault." Then the stars began to disappear. One by one, darkness returned. The planets cracked. The dragon screamed. And Zane woke up. He was in the ship again, breathing fast, his heart racing, his hands were shaking. His forehead was wet with sweat. It was a dream. But no. It felt too real. Zane sat up. The lights in his room blinked. A soft humming sound came from the walls. The ship was still in deep space, moving through the empty stretch between galaxies. He stood and looked in the mirror. His reflection was different. His eyes still human, but now with a soft glow. A faint blue light danced under his skin like circuits. He whispered, "That dream, I think it was a memory." Later, in the ship's command hall, Zane sat with Commander Vaylor and a tall female alien named Arisna, who was a memory keeper. Zane told them everything about the dream. Arisna looked concerned. "He's accessing deep memory threads. This is rare." Vaylor frowned. "You were flying? With the dragon?" Zane nodded. "I was a kid. I wasn't sick or broken, I think. I was something else back then." Arisna stepped forward. "Zane, listen carefully. What you saw might not be a dream. You were chosen as a code holder when you were a child. Your mind was locked, your powers hidden. But now the dragon is helping you remember." Zane looked down. "Why lock my powers?" "Because the galaxy wasn't ready," Arisna said. "And because you were not safe." Suddenly, a soft growl filled the room. The walls glowed red, then melted into light. Zane stood up. "It's him." A giant portal opened in the center of the room. Fire poured through it. The dragon emerged, but this time, it didn't fly or roar. It simply landed quietly and lowered its head to Zane. Zane stepped forward. He was not scared. The dragon spoke not with a mouth but inside their minds. "Zane, it is time you saw who you were." The fire on them swirled. The room disappeared. Suddenly, they were in a new world inside the dragon's memory. Zane stood in a great city made of crystal towers. Thousands of dragons flew in the sky. Children with glowing skin played in the streets. It looked like a paradise then. A giant ship appeared above the city. Black, silent. A shadow fell across everything. Screams echoed from the ship. A dark figure dropped like a meteor. The Void Eater. He absorbed light. He killed stars. He broke dragons. Zane watched as his younger self ran toward the light tower. The young Zane held something in his hands, a golden sphere. The star code. He jumped into a portal. He escaped. And then everything shattered. The city burned. The dragons were gone. The vision ended. Zane fell to his knees. I ran away." The dragon's voice was calm. "You were a child. You were protecting the last hope." Zane looked up. "But I left everyone behind." The dragon's eyes glowed warmly. "And now you will return to save them all." Zane stood, stronger. "I'm ready." The dragon slowly faded back into light. Before disappearing, it whispered, "Then come find me again on the planet of ashes. I will be waiting." Back on the ship, Arisna and Vaylor looked at Zane with awe. He was changing inside and out. And far away, in the shadows of space, the Void Eater opened his eyes. He whispered, "So the boy remembers. Let the game begin." Long ago, the old alien began. A dragon flew across a dying galaxy, carrying a child made of light. The council room was silent. Only the crackling of a floating energy flame could be heard. Dozens of alien leaders, generals, and scholars sat around a great circular table, carved from the core of a dead star. The storyteller, Elder Carnix, had eyes like silver moons and a voice that echoed softly inside the minds of everyone in the room. The child would fall, he continued, and forget what he was. But one day he would rise, and when the dragon called his name, the stars would burn again. Whispers spread through the crowd. A leader from the red deserts of Torgak spoke. "You think this crippled human boy is the one from the legend?" A tall being from the ice planet Rixer clicked its jaws. "He doesn't look like a warrior. He looks like a child." Elder Carnix raised a hand. He stood when the dragon called. "That is enough." At that moment, the doors opened. Zane entered. He walked slowly but firmly, wearing a dark blue robe given to him by the ship's crew. His eyes still glowed faintly. Behind him came Commander Vaylor and Arisna, silent and watchful. Dozens of alien eyes turned to him. Zane felt it instantly: doubt, fear, and something worse, jealousy. He stood before the table. No throne for him. Just empty space. He swallowed. His voice was small but steady. "I didn't ask for this. But I won't run." No one clapped. No one smiled. Then a large warlord named Gorang of the Fire Moons slammed his metallic fist on the table. "You hold the last living code of the ancients, but can you use it?" Zane looked at him. "Not yet." Laughter broke out. Harsh, cold, mocking. Zane felt heat rise in his chest. Not anger, but power. The code inside him pulsed. The lights in the room flickered. The warlord stopped laughing. "What was that?" Someone whispered. Arisna stepped forward. "He doesn't need to prove himself. The code is not a weapon, it is a memory. And memories cannot lie." Elder Carnix turned to Zane. "Then let us see your memory." A glowing orb floated down from above and hovered over Zane's head. It scanned him. In seconds, a giant projection filled the hall. Zane's memory. They saw the dragon's world. They saw the Void Eater destroying the sky. They saw young Zane holding the star code as the city fell around him. The council chamber fell into silence. Elder Carnix whispered, "It is true." He was there. Suddenly, boom, the wall exploded. An alarm rang. Soldiers ran in. "We've been breached." Someone yelled. From the smoke, a shadow stepped into the room. It was a woman, but her eyes were empty. Her body glitched like broken glass. Zane's face went pale. "Mom?" She looked at him, but did not speak. Her mouth moved, but someone else's voice came out. "The code must be taken. The boy must be broken." She raised her arm, and a wave of dark energy shot toward Zane. Zane raised both hands. A blast of pure light burst from his chest, breaking the energy wave in midair. The council gasped. Zane single quotes as mother collapsed. He ran to her, but she vanished like mist. Commander Vaylor shouted, "This was a test. The enemy is watching us through minds, through people." The warlord Goran stood slowly. "The boy may be weak, but the code is not." Elder Carnix nodded. "We must prepare for war. But we must first protect the code." Zane looked around at them all. He wasn't sure who to trust. He wasn't even sure what he was becoming. And somewhere, in a far dark place, the Void Eater smiled. Thump. Darkness. Thump. Silence. Thump. Thump. A heartbeat. Slow, soft, floating in the silence of space. Zane's body drifted like a feather through the stars. His eyes closed. His arms spread out. No air, no ship, no sound. Just the endless black. A thin trail of blue light curled around him like smoke. It came from his chest, the star code, still alive, still glowing, but his body was still falling. Far away, a satellite recorded the boy's fall. It blinked once, twice. And then exploded. From the shadows of a cold moon, a creature watched him, a scout of the Void Eater, invisible to sensors. Its body was made of liquid black glass. Its eyes had no light. It opened a communication gate. Target falling. Code still active. Beginning harvest. It moved toward Zane, stretching out long arms like spears. But something moved faster. A silver blur shot through space, hitting the creature with burning light. The creature screamed and cracked like glass under fire. Then it vanished. The blur stopped. A ship, a small one, sleek, glowing with blue flames. Inside, a voice shouted, "We got him. Pull him in now." Robotic arms grabbed Zane gently and pulled him into the ship's chamber. The moment he passed the door, he gasped for air and opened his eyes. He woke up inside a stasis pod. A round-faced alien girl with silver tattoos leaned over him. "You're alive," she said. "You're lucky. You were out there for 6 minutes. No suit, no protection. Only the code saved you." Zane sat up slowly. "Who are you?" the girl smiled. "Name's Siva. I run rescue ships between the outer rings. You're famous, you know." Zane rubbed his head. "Feels like I fell through a dream." "You fell through death," Siva replied, "and came out breathing." She handed him a small orb that replayed the memory, his body drifting in space, glowing like a falling star. Zane watched in silence. "I should be dead," he whispered. Siva shrugged. "Maybe you're already something more." Back on the main warship, Commander Vaylor and Arisna had tracked the energy blast. They arrived quickly and brought Zane back. But something was different now. Zane's skin had changed. Light pulsed just under the surface. His voice had a strange echo. His body didn't get tired. He could breathe slower. Think faster. The dragons. Power was growing inside him. Late that night, Zane walked alone to the outer viewing deck of the ship. He looked at the stars. They didn't feel so far away anymore. Then. He heard footsteps. He turned. It was his mother. Not a vision. Not a shadow. Her real face. But something was wrong. Her eyes flickered. She didn't blink. Zane stepped back. "No, you're not real." She spoke his mother's voice, but the words were wrong. "Your heart belongs to the code. Your mind belongs to me." Zane clenched his fists. Light began to rise from his palms. "Then you don't know me at all." He attacked. A beam of blue light burst forward, but the figure vanished, just a shadow again. Back in the control room, alarms lit up. Earth had been found, but not as they left it. The blue planet was now surrounded by black rings. The Void's machines were drilling into the planet's core. Cities were covered in fog. People were walking, but not thinking, mind-controlled, silenced. Zane stared at the images. His home. His people. They were still alive but empty. Arisna whispered, "This is the real war. Not for stars, not for planets, but for souls." Zane turned away from the screen. "I'm going back." Commander Vaylor stepped forward. "You're not ready." "I wasn't ready when the dragon called me," Zane said. "But I stood up anyway." He turned toward the portal room. This time, he wouldn't run. This time, he was taking the fight home. The ship landed silently. No fire, no noise. Just soft dust rising as the ramp touched old earth soil. Zane stepped out. The wind was warm. The sky was gray. Clouds didn't move. He looked around. His village. Exactly as he remembered it. The same cracked roads. The small houses. The tree where he used to sit in his wheelchair, watching the stars. It was all there. But something was wrong. Too quiet. Too perfect. Like a memory that refused to age. Zane walked through the village square. People were there, smiling, chatting, selling fruit. But when they saw him, they didn't react. No surprise. No joy. Number. Fear. Just blank stares. He walked up to a woman he knew since childhood. "Mrs. Halley, it's me, Zane." She looked at him and smiled. The sun is bright today, she said flatly, then walked away. Zane's skin tingled. He ran to an old friend, Tommy. Tommy! It's me! Tommy looked at him, blinking slow. Have we met before? Zane stepped back. His hands shook. He looked around again and realized something terrifying. No one blinked. People smiled, but their eyes didn't move. Their expressions didn't change. They acted normal. But they weren't alive. He turned. And there, standing at the far end of the street, his mother. She looked exactly the same. Kind eyes, warm face, hands folded. Zane ran to her. Mom, please tell me you remember, please. She smiled gently. Zane, what a lovely name. Are you new to the village? His heart dropped. He touched her face gently. It was warm, real, but empty. No, he whispered. This isn't real. Suddenly, the sky flickered like a glitch. The buildings pulsed. Trees froze mid-move. The air looped. Zane looked around in horror. This is a copy. Far above in orbit, Arisna. Watch the screen. She turned to Valor. The void has created a memory shell. He's trapping Earth in a repeating past. To break it, Valor said, Zane must destroy what he loves most. Back on the ground, Zane ran. He ran to his childhood home. Bursting through the door, everything was exactly as he remembered. His toys, his books, even the smell. He walked into his old room and saw himself, a young version of him, maybe 8 years old, sitting in the wheelchair, reading a book. The boy looked up and smiled. Hi, Zane couldn't breathe. The boy said, You grew up. That's good. You're strong now. You're me, Zane whispered. The boy nodded. But I'm still stuck here. You have to let go. The room began to shake. Walls cracked. The fake sky turned black. Zane's eyes filled with tears. If I let go, I lose everything. The boy smiled softly. No, if you don't let go, everyone loses everything. Zane stepped forward and touched the boy's shoulder. Thank you. The boy faded into light, and the house began to burn. Outside, fire spread fast. The villagers didn't scream, they didn't run. They just stood and smiled as the flames consumed them. The sky above opened. The stars flickered. Zane stood in the center of the burning village, arms open as energy exploded from his chest. The memory shell cracked. The fake world shattered. And the real Earth revealed itself. Dark, broken, machines in the sky, the air poisoned, cities full of empty eyes. Zane fell to his knees. This was Earth now, his real home, and it was dying. The dragon's voice echoed in his mind. You've faced the lie. Now face the truth. Your mother still lives. But not as you remember. Her. Zane looked up, eyes glowing with pain and fire. Then I'll save her. From the shadows, a figure stepped into the burning ruins. It was her, his real mother, but half her face was metal. Her arms flickered with dark code. The void had changed her. She spoke, her voice trembling. Zane, help me. Zane took a step forward, but behind her, shadows moved. And in the smoke, the Void Eater himself began to rise. Zane opened his eyes, but there was no sky. No stars, no ground, just echoes. He was standing in a place made of thoughts. Broken thoughts, floating pieces of rooms, voices, faces, tears, and screams like memories shattered across a black ocean. This wasn't space. This wasn't Earth. This was the Void's mind. Zane stepped carefully across a bridge made of glass memories. Each step made a sound, not of footsteps, but of someone crying. He saw flashes, his mother laughing, his father holding him, his younger self learning to walk. But all the moments were cracked. They bled smoke. Why am I here? He whispered. Wind answered, not with a voice, but with his own fear. Because you are the last one with light, and light must be broken. He turned and saw a throne, floating in the dark. On it sat the Void Eater, a figure made of shifting shadows and ancient pain. His body looked like it was built from the forgotten. "You have carried the code all this time," the Void said. "But do you even know what it truly is?" Zane didn't answer. The Void stood, his form growing tall, endless, stretching into the skies of sky. "It is not power. It is memory. It is truth. And truth is the heaviest thing in the universe." He walked toward Zane. "Give it to me, and I will let her go." Zane looked beside him. His mother, bound in chains made of light and regret, crying silently. One hand reached out. Zane stepped forward. "Let her go first." The Void laughed. "Sound like buildings falling. That's not how bargains work." Zane closed his eyes. And then he did something unexpected. He walked into the Void. His body glowed. The code inside him came alive. Symbols ran through his skin. His heart beat louder than ever. He passed into the shadow and found himself, a broken version. Angry, afraid, screaming. Zane placed a hand on his own shadow. "You are not my enemy." He pulled it close, hugged it, and the shadow cried. Then vanished. A roar echoed through the dark. The dragon exploded out of light, wings wide, eyes blazing. "You have passed the final gate," it said. "The code is fully yours." Zane rose, fire behind his eyes. The voice of the galaxy in his chest. "The Code Keeper." The Void screamed. His body twisted, turned into storms. He attacked. Zane didn't. Run. He became light. Their battle shattered the dream realm. Memory clashed with shadow. Hope versus despair. Zane fought not to destroy, but to awaken. And he won. Not with power, but by unlocking the one thing the Void feared, truth. Zane released the code, not as a weapon, but as light over every forgotten star. The shadows burned away. The sky returned to. The memories healed. And the earth began to breathe again. Zane collapsed on the grass of real earth. The sky was blue. The people were waking up, and his mother was beside him, free, holding his hand. "You brought me back," she whispered. He nodded, eyes full of tears. "No. We came back." Later, high in the stars, the Galactic Council gathered. A statue was placed on the moon of a boy once forgotten, who carried the memory of everything. Zane, the last Code Keeper. The human who made dragons fly again.